Hello, mighty women of God. I hope you are having a most marvelous retreat. Bless your hearts. I wish I could be with you. But I'd like to give my testimony. And one of my favorite scriptures has been Ephesians 4:1, where it talks about living a life worthy of your calling. I've often said it's a joyful thing to be in the will of God. And because it is a wonderful thing to be in step with Jesus. And while I had some great moments on that path this year or last year, I was also running off the path way too often to the weeds of bitterness and anger, resentment, and perhaps even hatred against my mother. I can still remember the Bible study when Mom announced that she thought she could live to be 95 years old. To my horror, I realized I would be 70 years old when I finally became free from her relentless demands and need for attention. Those were my feelings at that time. This was not the path I wanted to be on. So once again in my life, my worst nightmare became my reality, and to my great surprise, during the daily process of serving and loving Mom unto death, that turned into my greatest gift, finally believing my mother loves me. I am not a nurse, and I never wanted to be a caregiver. In the stores, Mom would be oh so charming to the shoppers and the employees, and people would tell me, oh, what an honor it is to care for your mother late in life. I'd smile and wish I could slap them. The shopper didn't hear the nasty things that were just said to me moments before coming into the shop. On the advice of a very dear friend, I started asking God to give me more love than I had to give. Lord, I need more love than I have to offer. And it's a great thing because the Lord loves answering that prayer over and over again. This past year, Mom's dementia became more evident, and my strong mom became like a little confused child. And the Lord showed me how vulnerable she feels. It broke my heart. You see, Mom didn't believe her own mother loved her. We spent a lot of hours talking about that. I was blessed with working from home most of last year, so I could be to help with the so I could be home to help with the life's emergencies. And I began to drop the what about me? And I began to let go of most everything, dreams, hopes, as far as me was concerned. I sort of dropped everything and just focused on taking care of Mom and working full time. In other words, I began to live in the moment with Mom, and my life became filled with better days as I released my disappointments and bitterness over to Jesus. Mom started intentionally telling me how she loves me, over and over actually, and how she appreciates all I do for her, and she even thanked me for giving up my life for her. We'd have a good night hug in the evenings, and her head would nestle right into my shoulder as my arm was wrapped around her. And we'd have a sweet time, and then I'd tuck her into bed, and she would say thanks to me for this or that occurred that day. All the words I needed to hear from my mother's mouth. And I found as she kept saying those words here and there, I finally began to believe her. She does respect me. She does love me. My mom really sees me. And I love her too. The day came when I could no longer keep Mom safely at home, and I had to move her into a late stage memory care facility. Mom wasn't making a lot of sense that morning, but before we left, she grabbed me up tightly and told me everything I needed to hear. She told me not to feel bad about this. because she knew I couldn't keep her at home anymore. She knew I was worn out. She said she wasn't mad at me, she didn't resent me, and she loved me. And while she remained in that lucid time, we called my brother David quickly, and she said her love words to him, and then faded back to her dementia. However, I will say that even though Mom may have not known who I was from time to time, a good lot of the time, that she never forgot who Jesus is to her. And we would spend times doing a little Janice Thompson devotional. She'd get a lot out of that. And we'd pray together. She prayed a lot in those days. And she kept Jesus ever present all the way to her time of death. That's a blessing. I can now say that I had the privilege of walking with my mother through the nearing path of dementia until she was released from her miserable state into the loving arms of Jesus just last December. I'm a better person because of this journey I did not want to take. So let my testimony encourage you that if you're on a path of God's design and not your design, ask for more love than you have to give, and don't give up too soon. You may discover that the love you needed more than you have to give was God placing His love in you so you can love yourself more than you had to give. God bless you all, and I enjoy your retreat. Thank you for being able to share my testimony. Love you. Bye-bye.